Okay, so today we're going to be working on inequalities. And as long as you have a really good understanding of what we did in our previous half of the unit, you should be great. So there are two things that you need to know about inequalities. And first, we're going to learn how to solve inequalities with rational numbers. And the second part is that you can graph the inequalities in a number line. So before we even get started, let's go ahead and understand back in the day, we used to tell alligators, right? And alligators, remember, would eat the largest number. But because you are now in seventh grade, we don't talk about alligators. We talk about x as being greater than, less than, greater than and equal to, or simply less than equal to. So we have our basic circle that we talk about, or and that means that is either greater than or less than. Our fancy bougie black colored in circle, I can kind of consider that as my like black diamond. It's that rare thing that's a little extra, and your signs are going to be a little extra as well. And that means that you're just going to say it's greater than or equal to or less than or equal to. But let's take a step back and look at one of today's questions. So one of today's warm-up questions was 4x minus 2 is equal to 4. So this is nothing scary. So we do our usual, we box our variable, add to each side because that's how we zero it out. If we do it to one side, we do it to the other. We rewrite the equation. I'm going to kind of fast because we've already done this like 10 million times. We divide each side by 4 and we get x equals 1.5. Okay, so there should be nothing new that we've learned. So the only thing that we're going to look at today is we're going to put one of these wonderful greater than, less than, one of our little alligator mouths. We're going to replace that with from the equal sign with one of our fancy little mouths. So we're going to go ahead and use the exact same example that we did with our warm-up. But this one, let's go ahead and say that x is less than 4. Now, don't get thrown off with this less than sign because we do the exact same things as we already went through, all right? So we're going to box that off. We're going to add 2 to each side, keep our less than amount, right? Because our little alligator sign, which Miss Morgan next door would kick me in my shins if she knew I was saying that. All of our steps are exactly the same. Nothing here has changed except we replaced that equal sign with a different sign. All right, so we're going to say that x is less than 1.5. So that means that everything on our number line, which is going into our graphing, right, is going to be represented with an arrow. So we're always going to start at our 0 point. All right, so this is our 0.5, this is our 1, and then this is our 1.5 or 1.5. Now we know if we go to the left side, we are going to be in our negative. So that is always going to be less than anything on our positive side. And remember that when you go, the further down that you go on that left side, the smaller the number is going to be. Okay, so let's first start with one thing. All right, step number 1, let's find where we are placing this number. All right, so find the number on the number line. Step 2 is to decide, is it going to be an open circle? Is it going to be a closed circle? And we determine that based off of what the sign looks like. Remember, if it has that sign under that line underneath it, it's my extra one, right? It's my special one, which means that it's equal to or greater than. And number 3, we're going to ask ourselves at least 2 questions. And you're going to see what I'm talking about in just a moment. All right, so we're going to start here. And we know that our beginning number is at 1.5. So we're going to go up to our 1.5 or 1.5. Next, we're going to look at our sign and look at what type of sign is it going to be. So it's an open circle. So we're going to start here and put our open circle. Next, we know that the x is less than the 1.5. Alligator is eating the larger number. All right, so x is less than. So if we had looked at, is 2 less than 1.5? No. But if we start going back this way and we were to ask ourselves, the first question is 0 less than 1.5? Well, yes. Is -1 less than 1.5? So if we were to do that, that's telling me that we're going to go in this direction. So 1.5 or 1.5 is where we're starting. It has the less than sign, so it's going to be an open circle. And we know that it's going to go this way to the left side because we've asked ourselves two questions. Is 0 less than 1.5? Yep. Is -1 less than 1.5? So we're just going to elongate this with an arrow, saying that it can go on forever. So if you were to look at your first page here, we're just going to start off very, very simple. All right, very basic. We'll add on to it tomorrow. We know that if it doesn't have a negative sign, which none of the work does today, we're going to follow it the same way. So we're going to add 18 to this side to get x by itself, and then we're going to add 18 to the other side. So x is less than or equal to 32. So this is really basic. It's what we did all our last week. All right, I'm not worried about down here. I just want you to go through and just kind of look at all of these to make sure that you understand it. Let's look at this one, number A. I'm going to box this in because starting tomorrow, whatever that positive or negative is going to affect which way this goes. But let's not worry about that here. So if we have a positive 7, we're going to minus 7, minus 7. So x is less than or equal to -19. If we go up here, we'll just do a few more together. We're not going to touch this guy right now. Opposite of -3 is +3. If we do it to one side, we have to do it to the other. So x is greater than -10. So this is a great starting point on what it's going to look like with what we're doing in this unit. Now let's go back over here. First thing that I want you to do is let's put down our cheat notes, right? So we have our open circle, which means that it's just our plain old signs. So we have greater than and less than. We have our fancy bougie black diamond ones, which is less than or equal to or greater than and equal to. Okay. We also know that we have 3 little rules that we're going to look at. We're going to first find our starting number. Then we are going to decide on our circle. I'm running out of space. And then 3, ask yourself 2 questions. So let's look over here. We have x is greater than 4. X is greater than 4. So over here, we're just going to kind of look through all of these and figure out what is an example of x is greater than 4. So let's go through here and I'm going to find let's see here. Let me find where we're at here. X is greater than 4. Okay, so let's try this guy out, number H. So we have a starting point of 0, 1, 2, 3. So that can't be my starting point. Let's look at S. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we're 4 points in. We know that we're looking for X is greater than 4. Let's check out our circle. There's nothing special about our circle. So right now, this one's looking to be a good starting point. Now let's ask ourselves two questions. Is 5 greater than 4? Yes. Is 6 greater than 4? Yes. So over here, let's go ahead and put S down for here. So what we did is that we looked at that X is greater than 4. We asked ourselves 2 questions to make sure that this statement is true. Let's go ahead and look at 3. X is less than or equal to negative 1. All right? X is less than or equal to negative 1. We're going to go over here and let's start off by looking at to make sure that we start off with a negative 1. Okay, I'm not sure if I is the right one or not, but we started off at negative 1 right here. We are looking for something special. So it's going to be, because it is less than or equal to, so it's my black diamond. Now let's ask ourselves 2 questions. Is negative 2 less than or equal to negative 1? Yes, it's smaller. Is negative 3 less than or equal to negative 1? Yes. So up here, we're going to go ahead and put an I for this one. This is very basic stuff that we're doing today. Like I said, tomorrow we're going to go ahead and add upon it. But just go ahead and work your way through the rest of the inequalities worksheet, as well as the why did the mommy burglar get caught. Email me with any questions.